Quazi here. Over the last year, I started to become very interested in trading and investing. Why? Because I started to notice that we started to attract a lot of clients who have been traders, and our existing trading clients have been getting amazing results. On top of that, I figured that it'd be a fun challenge to pivot to a completely different area of life, an area in which I have zero expertise in, and actually test our principles of reality creation to see if I would be able to master it. Now, for many of you who've been following me and my journey for a while, you probably know that in the past, I actually tried trading, but quickly realized that I needed a lot of capital to trade with, and there was a steep learning curve, and as a college student back in 2019, I couldn't afford to lose that much to learn the lessons that I needed to learn. Plus, it seemed very, very lonely, and I was just a very social person. I wanted to speak to people, communicate with people, and actually work with people, right? Well, now in 2025, I just had a record month in September trading where I made $38,000 in pure profits, which is roughly around a 30% return on my portfolio. Now, in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I was able to step into the identity of a successful trader and actually became profitable, and my whole journey so that you can hopefully do it for yourself. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so to begin with, let's get all of the frequently asked questions out of the way. A lot of people ask, oh, what was your strategy? What do you trade? What do you do? I trade primarily futures and options. Futures, I'm still figuring out. Options, the screenshot that you're seeing is me trading options, the 38,000 in profits that I made. I'm going to share with you my results in futures as well. I swing trade options. What I do is sell options, which I think is a safer way. And again, the strategy is very, very irrelevant because I find that in trading or investing, strategy accounts for maybe like 3 to 5% of your success, but perfect execution of strategy is undoubtedly 95 to 97% of the work. And a way in which you can think about this is if you were to give your money to a money manager to manage, would you give it to a person who has A+ strategies, you know, they're Harvard graduate, expert, critical thinker, whatever, but they have a piss poor mindset? Or would you give it to someone with maybe, you know, decent average strategy, but elite mindset, you know, superior mindset? Who would you rather give your money to manage? Obviously the person who maybe has average strategy, but has elite execution. They're just going to keep growing your money. And the first rule of investing, as Warren Buffett says, is don't lose money. Don't lose money, right? That's it. So I want to share with you the steps that I went through to help me go from Quazi, the unprofitable trader, to an investor who had no clue how to invest money and trade, to Quazi, the profitable trader and investor. So my investing background includes this screenshot here in college where I lost a lot of money trading, my $1,000 all that I had to my name. And then the FTX collapse where I lost almost like a couple of coins, like a couple of Bitcoins, because I had them in an interest account, like at the BIA interest account, where it was earning like 8% interest, but I left it in there stupidly. And you won't believe it, like on the last day, on like November of 2021 or something, I believe I received a payment from a client in Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, I'm going to transfer this to my account. Like 5 minutes before that, unbeknownst to me, 5 minutes before that, someone was posting on Reddit saying, hey, I can't access my crypto in BlockFi. You know, does this have anything to do with the FTX crash? And then soon after, the money that I just literally transferred, it got locked out with all my other coins as well. So that was a sobering lesson to learn. Fortunately, I had other coins in other places. You know, they say not your keys, not your coins, but that's my experience up until that point with investing. And so kind of from that point on, I was like, you know, I'm just going to stay off stock trading and investing because to me, it seems like gambling. Well, anything is gambling is a risk if you don't really know how to manage risk, right? If you know how to manage risk, it's not gambling. If you know how to manage your psychology, it's not really gambling because you choose. The beauty with trading as opposed to gambling is in trading, you choose when to enter and when to exit. When you're gambling, once you enter a game, you can't exit. You can't exit in the middle of the game, right? You can't just say, hey, you know, I'm just going to get out. With trading, you can literally say, hey, I want to exit here. I want to cut my losses and I want to get out here, right? So that's the beauty of trading. You can enter and exit the market. It's completely your choice. It is literally you against yourself, right? So I want to walk you through the steps that I went through and the timeline so it gives you a better understanding of how I was able to manifest becoming a profitable trader. So step number one, everything always begins with an intention. So at first I started to notice these trading clients, and I started to notice, trading clients getting amazing results. And I was like, why is this happening? Let's analyze it. Well, turns out that if you shift your identity, that's the most direct way you can see results in trading. Some of the biggest issues we see with our traders is, they move their stop losses, or they cut winners too short, or they revenge trade, they become impulsive, they can't control themselves. Why does this happen? Because you don't view yourself as the kind of person who is capable of doing something like that, for whom it is normal to do profitable traders' behavior. You view yourself as someone who is an unprofitable trader. So to explain this, I know it sounds a little bit muddled up, but to explain this, just imagine you wake up one morning and you don't brush your teeth, and you continue the rest of your day. You're going to feel a little bit unnatural, right? You're just going to feel like something's off today. Why? Because you view yourself as the kind of person who brushes their teeth in the morning, right? For you, it's a natural behavior to brush your teeth in the morning, right? Similarly, I always use this crude example, but the most extreme example would be, it would be very unnatural for you to do hard drugs, right? Let's say the worst drug you can think of. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't shoot that, right? Because you don't view yourself as the kind of person for whom it is natural to do that, right? Hopefully. So you view yourself as the kind of person for whom it is very natural to brush their teeth, and you view yourself as the kind of person for whom it is very unnatural to do hard drugs. Now, imagine you view yourself as the kind of person, the brushing teeth example, replace that with profitable trading behaviors. Waiting patiently for the perfect setup to show up, and then executing on that perfect setup, the A+ setup, and then ignoring anything that's not A+. And executing on anything that is not A+ is like you doing hard drugs. So if you actually viewed yourself as a profitable trader and A+ setup taker, then it would be very, very natural for you to wait patiently for A+ setups and not be impatient, not revenge trade. All these impulsive behaviors, they just get, completely wiped away. On the other hand, the discipline that it takes to wait around patiently for an A+ setup to come around and ignore all the B+ setups in your mind convincing you like, oh, you should take this, you're going to make money. It's going to be very easy to wait it out. You won't need to force discipline. You won't need willpower. It's just going to be natural to you, right? It's kind of like an alcoholic who quits drinking. They no longer view themselves as an alcoholic. They're like, oh, I'm no longer an alcoholic. Imagine you viewed yourself as the kind of person who's like, I'm no longer an unprofitable trader. That's why it's unnatural for me to do that. Every single successful trader that I've worked with, what I've noticed is they talk about their unprofitable trading identity as though it was in the past. Like, oh, I wouldn't do something like that. When I was an unprofitable trader, I used to do that. But now that I am a profitable trader, I don't do that. Do you see the difference? Okay, so that is the gist of what we're going to be talking about today, because I believe this is the main thing that is going to make you a profitable trader if you are not already. Okay, so step number one, it began with the intention that I wanted to learn trading and become a profitable trader. The reason why I did that was because we started to attract a lot of clients, as I mentioned to you, and our trading clients have been getting amazing results. What I also started to do as a result of that was I pivoted a marketing strategy on cold advertising to just go straight to attracting traders and investors. Why? Because it was more of a direct niche that we could target as opposed to just like general entrepreneurs, right? And I noticed that I enjoy solving trading problems more because you can directly pinpoint cause and effect relationships right there. As opposed to entrepreneurship, there's a lot of like variables to juggle. But in trading, it's just you against yourself, right? And we started to notice a lot of success. But then what I noticed was I actually didn't have much trading knowledge or acumen. So it felt kind of unnatural and unrelatable speaking to traders. So I was like, okay, well, I have to get into trading, right? I have to learn trading, especially technical analysis on like really lower time frames, and also possibly swing trading, right? Learning all sorts of trading. So now I do long-term investing, swing trading, and also trading on 1 minute time frames, like pure technical analysis, which I honestly think is the most athletic thing you can do in terms of investing, right? That's like the highest level. I honestly admire those who are like consistently profitable, just trading very low time frames. So as soon as I made the intention, what happened was one of my clients reached out to me and he was like, hey, you want to learn trading? You can't make this shit up, you know? He was like, hey, I'm doing really, really well. Like, he posted a testimonial in our group, and he was like, hey, do you want to learn trading? I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to learn trading. And then he taught me his strategy on futures, and I started executing on it. And like, obviously there was a lot of struggles. What he does is he trades on prop firms where it's complicated to explain, but you basically use other people's funding. You don't use your own money, so you don't risk your own money to trade. You use other people's money to trade. So for example, I'll pay $200 to get a $150,000 account to trade with. And if I risk 1% of that account and I make, let's say, a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, I'd make $1,500 in profit. From that prop firm account, what happens is if you make $1,500 in profit, you get paid 90%, up to 90% of that profit, right? The way prop firms make money is through rules that they make and other people failing, right? It's a very like win-lose model for them, because if you lose, they profit. So select few people who are patient enough, they win, and are disciplined enough and are profitable traders, they will win, and they will basically rinse these prop firms. Like 3% of successful traders trading prop firm strategies, rinsing these prop firms for everything that they're paying, and 97% of them they keep paying these prop firms because they can't become that profitable trader. Well, my goal is to teach you how to become a profitable trader. Okay, so I make the intention, one of my clients reaches out, I start learning the strategy. Step 2 was stepping into the identity of a profitable trader. Now, how did I do that? How did I step into the identity of a profitable trader? So I started to blow up these $150,000 accounts, like keep paying $200 again and again and again. And I think so far I've invested around maybe $4,000 to $6,000 in like getting these accounts. But the way I look at it is like, that's just tuition for me, right? I just had to pay that to learn the lessons. And I'm at a point, fortunately, now where I can afford to do that. If I were in college, I definitely would not be able to, I wouldn't be able to afford to do that, right? So actually, maybe I would, but I think it would take me a hell of a lot longer to have learned back then because I didn't know what I know now, right? So step into the identity of a profitable trader. What I did was every night I visualized myself executing, waiting around and executing on A+ setups, taking really profitable trades. Right around the same time, when I made the intention, my barber was cutting my hair one day and he was like, hey, I just started investing and trading options. And he's like, yeah, dude, I haven't lost since. Like I've been up like every single month. Like I've been making premium selling options. I'm like, what? Dude, that's insane. That's awesome. Who taught you? He's like, oh, this guy, like I cut his hair. He taught me. And then I was like, cool, connect me to him. And I just couldn't help but connect these moments, right? Because I was like, what are the chances that I find two different people, like two different mentors in trading, like right around the time I make the intention? These synchronicities, they don't lie, right? So I got connected with him and I learned the strategy. And again, selling options is a very easy strategy. It's called a wheel strategy. You basically sell puts and covered calls. It's very, very simple, but you just have to be super, super patient. You have to also be able to risk, and you also need capital to do this. Fortunately, in my investing account, I had capital because I had been investing for years, like for the last 5 years prior, just long-term investing into S&P, etc. And he taught me like at a high level how the strategy works. And honestly, you don't even need mentorship to do that. You can just go on YouTube and learn all these strategies. They're available on YouTube for free, right? So you can go and learn that. If you're still in the mindset that I need the perfect strategy and then I will be successful, that's not true, right? You need perfect execution of strategy. What is preventing you from perfectly executing on strategy, which is what I want to show you here, okay? So he taught me that, and now that I learned that, I'm basically doing it on my own, picking stocks on my own to play options with. And the screenshot that you see was from my options account, the 38,000 that I was up, okay? So what I did was I visualized my options account, my Robinhood account, spiking up and getting to that level that I wanted to get to. And also trading futures, like waiting around for the perfect setup, the A+ setup, and executing on it, taking the right amount of risk, and then seeing the take profit mark get hit, right? So I visualize this every night before bed and every single morning, okay? Just like we teach our clients. And every morning before 9:30 a.m., I stepped into the identity. stepped into the identity of that profitable trader. Why 9:30 a.m.? That's when market opens. That's when you begin trading, the New York session, 9:30 to 11. So I would step into the identity of that successful, profitable trader. And during my trading session, I would ask a simple question. Whenever I'm presented with setups, I'm asking a simple question, which is, if I were the profitable trader version of me, would I take this trade? I am the profitable trader version, profitable trader Quazi. Am I taking this trade? If I were the profitable trader Quazi, would I take this trade? Simple. If the answer is yes, then I take the trade. If it's not, then I don't take the trade. Simple, right? So initially when I was trading so I would say that I was trading on and off since maybe, I want to say around November of last year. Like October and November last year, I kind of started with Forex a little bit, but then I didn't like it. Then went to futures, but then I didn't take it seriously. It was on and off, like even March, April. I just was too bogged down by client work, business. So I just didn't have a lot of time to trade because we didn't make the pivot then to traders. So I couldn't justify it. I'm like, why am I doing that? This is not my main thing, right? But then as soon as we started attracting traders, I was like, oh, okay, I actually need to be an active trader now. I can't be coaching traders if I'm not actively trading myself and understanding them. So then it really made sense for me to trade because this is actually part of business now, because I'm working with trading clients, so I need to make sure I understand what's going on, how I can help them overcome their struggles. And the only way I've been able to be a successful coach is by walking the walk myself instead of speaking about something that is very cerebral, intellectual, and logical. Yeah, but we still were able to get our trading clients amazing results just by the principles of identity shifting, even before I was trading. But since I decided to commit to it, I wanted to go all in. So I started seriously trading, I would say in June of 2025. It's October now. So June, I did not make profits. July, I did not really make that much profits. August was my first $5,000 month with options trading. And September was my first $38,000 month with options trading, okay? So with futures trading, I was able to get funded with $1.3 million, like having like 20 different 50K accounts with this company called Apex and a 150K account with Take Profit Trader and a 150K account with Top Step. Okay, so for those of you, I might just be, I don't know who's watching this video. Like if you're actually a trader watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, just stick with me. 1.3 million in funding is a lot, and like most trading coaches don't even get to that level of funding, right? So that I think is a good achievement for me. A lot of people would say that is a good achievement. I'm pretty proud of myself for being able to do that. So I haven't taken a payout yet because if you look at the market right now, the price action is horrible. It's absolutely terrible. So I'm not rushing anything, right? I'm just waiting for the perfect setups to come and I'm executing on them. Like today, as of making this video, I made like 10K, like 2,400 across 5 different accounts. Wait, no, that's 12,500. Yeah, my math is off. That's great, even better, right? 12,500 across 5 different accounts. So today was a day where there were good trades, but most days, this month at least, in October, not many. So anyway, going back to this, stepping into the ideal identity, and most of my challenges initially I noticed came when I was tempted to take anything that was less than A+. Why? Because we get trained in daily life to take massive action, to take imperfect action. Trading is such a different ballgame where you cannot afford to take imperfect action. You have to wait for the perfect action. So it kind of flies in the face of everything. In trading, it's kind of like the less you do, the better. And the more boring it is, the better, right? Though one analogy I can give you, it's kind of like the lion that's waiting to get the perfect prey. It waits, it stalks the prey, it waits until the right time. When the right time comes, it attacks. And then it's good for the next 3, 4, 5 days, right? Because it caught the right game. Trading is just like that. You wait for the right trade instead of taking I speak to people who take fucking 50 trades a day. What do you, why? Every single profitable trader I've spoken to takes 2 to 3 A+ setups every single week. I follow this guy on YouTube. You've probably seen him, Trades by Sai. He shows his account. He does big numbers. Sai, if you're watching, I don't know if you watch my channel. If you're watching this, dude, shout out to you. You're doing some really good stuff here. He takes maybe 2 or 3 A+ setups and he makes $1 million or $2 million per trade. You can go check out his channel. He's really, really good. So that's what I've noticed is every single successful trader, profitable trader takes maybe maximum one setup a day, if that. Most days, especially if price action is bad, they don't take setups. So ideally 2 to 3 A+ setups every single week, and that makes like the trading mentor that I'm working with who trades futures last month, he made 14%, 14% returns, which is awesome. And again, the 30% that I made in options, I think personally, that's a fluke. I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't think that's normal. I think normal for the way I'm trading, because I trade volatile stocks, which gives you more premiums. The way I trade, I think normal would be around maybe maximum 10%, right? Maybe 8, anywhere from 8 to 12%. I would say that I can do confidently every single month. So that 30% was definitely, it was awesome, it was great, but I don't expect to do that every single month, okay? So stepping into trader identity. And what I also noticed was my initial challenges were I was winning a lot on the good setups because I was taking the good setups, but I was also taking the bad ones, which was losing me money, and then I was blowing up accounts. So imagine I just get rid of the bad ones and just keep the good ones. What happens? I only win. I only take winning trades. That's it. So I noticed that my win rate went from 50% to 80, sometimes even 90%. Like I would rarely lose, okay? All as a result of stepping into this profitable trading identity. Now, step 3. Well, I already talked about this. As soon as I stepped into the identity, made the intention, I attracted the mentors. One of my clients, so attracting reality. What you'll notice is whenever you make the intention, all of these synchronicities will start to happen. Most people are too afraid to capitalize on them. They kind of brush them off. They're not receptive. They're not in the right state of being. They act from fear, right? I could have acted from fear instead of taking a risk. Like I trusted this mentor and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put $60,000 down and test your strategy. Like I'm willing to lose this money. I'm willing to take this risk. Just because I know if you don't risk, you don't get anything, right? And so I put my faith in him. And I started to use the stock picks that he suggested, and lo and behold, I made on the 2 different stocks he told me to run options on, out of the 60K collateral, I made around $9,000. Whatever that is, what is that? A third? That's almost 30%, right? Like $9,000 on 30,000 of invested capital. And this was within 2 months, right? Within 2 months. So month 1, 5K, and then month 2, I made extra 4K because I had to roll the options because it didn't hit my strike. It was, I guess, below my strike price. I had to roll the put. So you begin to attract reality, and this has happened time and time again for me. Initially in 2019 when I made the intention, in 2018 when I made the intention to have financial freedom, have the laptop lifestyle, I attracted a friend who was doing the exact same thing that I wanted to do, who lived 45 minutes from me. You can't make this up. He lived 45 minutes from me. He was making YouTube videos and selling coaching. And I was like, oh man, I had just found out about coaching, and immediately I meet someone who's doing the exact same thing. He had just quit his job a year prior. He was a year ahead of me, right? He lived in Long Island, 45 minutes from me in New York, and we met up and he connected me to his mentor who taught him everything, like how to run a coaching business, how to set up your LLC, how to create content, how to conduct sales calls, and how to promote your stuff, how to do marketing. Everything was taught to me, right? And so I was receptive to those because I was in the right state of being. A lot of people, they get the right strategy, but they're not in the right state of being to receive it. So it's kind of like giving a monkey a hammer. It doesn't know what to do with it. You could give a super intelligent person a paperclip and they would know how to make a supercomputer. But you can't give a monkey a hammer and it knows what to do with it, right? Because it's not in the right state of being. So that is what is crucial, okay? So that is step 3, attracting reality. And step 4 is the gestation period. So months 1 to 3 of me seriously committing to it. June, July, and August, I struggled. I was just learning. I was obsessed with it, back testing everything, perfecting my craft and my strategy. And, I really committed in June 2025. And August, I made my first $5,189. I'll post the screenshots of my Robinhood, portfolio size before and after. And September, $39,288. These were all from selling options, and I mentioned to you already, on my prop firm accounts, I was able to get funded with 1.3 million. I'm still waiting for a payout. It's gonna come any day now. So everything here, strategy-wise, was very, very simple. There was no magical strategy. It was just me stepping into the right state of being, and then the necessary corrections happening. Why? Here's why. You know, probably if you've been following my content, that there are 3 paradigms of existence. There is the being, there is the doing, and then there is the having. Most people get obsessed with the doing because we live in a masculine logic-focused world, right? They focus on doing, what is the right strategy, what is the right technique, what is the right thing to do, I need to do something, otherwise my mind won't believe that results will happen, right? They're stuck at this level. Therefore, sometimes they get results, but they're not able to maintain it. I work with a lot of traders who make profits one month, but then give it away the next month. I work with a lot of business owners who make revenue one month, but then they ride the revenue roller coaster. They go back down to 0 the next month. I also work with traders who get to the finish point, right? Right as they're about to take a payout, they sabotage it all. Like I have a trading client who has grown his portfolio from like 100,000 to 1.9 million, and then he sabotaged it all. Right when he was about to take a payout, he went from 1.9 to back to 100,000. And then he came back up again, and then he went back again. Right? So right now he's back at that stage wanting to consciously create it and get back to that level. And that's what we're helping him do. The only way you can get to that level is if that 1.9 million or that monthly payout becomes your hygiene standard. The way it becomes hygiene standard is when you truly step into that state of being, right? It's like this is the default point you will always return to, okay? So most people focus on this first instead of this. When you focus on becoming the profitable trader first, you will attract reality instead of chasing it, instead of pursuing it, instead of fighting for it. Trading is something you cannot chase. The right setup will come to you instead of you chasing it, right? The wins will come to you, the profits will come to you instead of you fighting to get it. Anytime you feel fight when you're trading, it is over. Even in reality, anytime you feel fight, it's not the right thing to do. It means you're forcing something that was not meant to happen right now. It's best to take a break and come back to it. Have you ever found maybe you're a golfer or something, you're at the range, you're grinding away, and your swing isn't working the way it's supposed to. And then you just say, fuck it, and you give up, you go back and then come back the next day when you're fresh, everything's working better, right? I can't tell you the number of times it's happened to me on the range, on the golf course. I just come back and I swing better, I swing freer, and I shoot a better score as a result. So that works with everything in life. The other thing I noticed too is that successful trading is actually kind of boring. Anything performed at the highest level is kind of boring, right? Flying a plane, it's boring. It should be boring. If it's fun, if you're having a blast flying a plane, you're doing something wrong. Like if you're a pilot and my pilot's like, I'm having a blast flying this plane, I'm going to be concerned. He should not be having fun. This should be boring as hell. Just like that, trading should be boring. Like emotionally, you shouldn't feel like ups and downs and perturbations. You dispassionately put one foot in front of the other and go towards your goals, right? You become deeply process-oriented. You fall in love with the process. You feel feelings of joy, love, peace, instead of the dopamine spikes of ecstasy of like going up and down, and you have this dopamine spike up and this dopamine spike down, kind of like taking caffeine. Like imagine your energy state gets improved with good sleep, good diet, instead of crushing a Red Bull or two, right? That's the difference. There's always a price to be paid for every dopamine spike that you get from an exogenous substance. So this is the main principle through which we operate, that our clients have been able to get amazing results with, by stepping into being first, by viewing themselves as the profitable trader first. Even our entrepreneur clients, by viewing themselves as the kind of entrepreneur that makes $20,000 a month, $50,000, $100,000 a month, okay? Recently, I actually got a testimonial from one of our clients who had been trying, she had quit a job, she was really struggling with her book funnel business, and recently in September, she made $18,000, our client Renee, $18,000 in revenue. That was like her highest ever month, and she'd been trying to make her first like 5K month for a very, very long time. So this is the power of what can happen if you stay in the right state of being, if you approach life by coming from the right state of being, shifting your identity. Okay, so these are the 4 steps that I went through to become profitable. I hope you will apply this. If you have any questions, let me know below. I also have made a comprehensive video on identity shifting. You can literally click right here. It will guide you step by step on how to actually make the identity shift happen. very, very comprehensive. It's going to be like 40 minutes long. You can just click right here to access that. And also, if you please share this with a friend, I would really, really appreciate that, because we're trying to reach as many people as possible. Our mission here at realitycreator.com is to help every single human being on earth to master their destiny. So if you share this with a friend, super, super appreciate that. And also, if you'd like to work closer together with me and my team, close personal mentorship to help you get to being the profitable trader, being the profitable entrepreneur, go to realitycreator.com/apply or click on the link in the description below. We're very, very selective about who we work with. So, you will fill up an application and schedule an interview with us to see if we'd be a good fit. We're just selective because I can only work with 20 clients maximum every single month. At this point in my career, we don't really do this for money. I am blessed to have everything covered by my investments, and my lifestyle isn't too extravagant. I don't spend a lot of money, so this is purely for passion. Otherwise, I would just become insanely bored and not feel fulfilled. So we love our clients, and we work very, very closely with our clients to make sure they get amazing results. So click on the link in the description below or go to realitycreator.com/apply, and we're going to get on a call to see if it would be a good fit. And looking forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks.